Hello everybody, welcome to this new episode. In today's video I would like to talk about routines in Talend ESB and how to scrape websites with Talend ETL. Excuse me. So what I'm going to use in order to extract content out of websites with Talend ETL is the same library that I explained before here on the Java session, in which I explained how to easily scrape websites using Java. The library that we implemented there, was the gsoap, and now I'm going to do the exact same thing but inside of Talend, which will give us more freedom to filter and manipulate the results. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just create a project, a job, and I would call it extract from URL, just to give it a unique name. So once we have the project, we can then start a route. I might start a route by, this is not a route, this is a job, by just creating a tfix flow input, and on the scheme I might give, let's say, an URL, just a URL that we are going to use. Let's call my domain. So once I have this, the next thing will be to use a tjava row. So on the tjava row I connect to this, and here there's not much I can do. The next thing I'm going to do is just go down to the code session. This is the place where we implemented routines. Well, what is a routine? A routine is like, if you watch the other video I made on Talend ESB, I explained here how to use Java beans in Talend ESB. So the process is pretty similar. In other words, a routine or a Java bean in the context of Talend, ETL and ESB is simply a class that you can access inside your components, and this class gives you the ability to import libraries and program just in plain Java, as you will do in another Java project. So here I'm going down to codes. Since I am in Talend ETL, what I'm going to create here is a routine. I create a routine, and I will call this routine, I don't know, let's say web scrapes with an S. Web scrapes, let's call it web scrapes with an S. So I save it, and at the moment you save the routine, Talend will just preload some codes for you to play with, sort of like to understand how the thing works. It's a very simple code. We have a package, the package routines, inside is a class, and we have a static method which only writes something to the screen. You could modify this method, let's say, and make it return a value instead of just writing into the screen. You might make it just return the same message that you sent. And the way to use a routine is as follows. You can use the routine from any Java component. In this case I'm going to use the tjava row because it's the simple one. And the only thing that you need to do is basically just access routines. The routine is called web scrapes, and from here you will access the hello example, which requires a string. I might give the string that I'm getting here in URL in the row. This is row 1, so I might say, hey, row 1 dot URL, and yeah, this routine will return a value. So I will try to print system out println the value that the routine is going to return me. Let's just add some other. Looks like it's fine. Let's add just a tloc component over here, just a dummy component for now, and let's take a look what it does. Job is being built now. And there you go. It's printing what is receiving from the tflow input, because right here we are passing it the URL to the routine, which in turn is returning the same message that we're sending, and that's what we are printing on the screen here. So now we're knowing that. Now we know that we can use any type of Java code in our routines. We can pass parameters and receive parameters back and use them in our code. So I'm going to implement this library called gsoup. How do you implement the library? The first thing you need to do, of course, is find your library, download it. I already did so. Maybe you could watch this video, it's very short, and there I explain exactly the steps to follow to install the library, but this time I'm going to do in Talend. So I will just right click on the routine that I just created, and there is something called edit routine libraries. Once I got here, it's asking me to import an external library, so I just click here and then go into the install module, browse all the way towards my module, my library, say, and my library, let's see, where's my library? I think it should be somewhere over here, libraries, external libraries, and this is the gsoup library. So I click on install, and I have my library right there. Now I click on finish. I go back into my routine, and here I can start working by import the things that I need to import, right? I need to import gsoup org and everything from gsoup, and now I can start working on my application, on my scraping method. So I will create a method, public static, that will return something, public static string, and I will call get web. Let's call it get web, and this method will return, of course, something, and it will receive at least two things. It will receive the URL, and it will receive a keyword. So what I'm going to do here is that I have to use gsoup actually, to connect to the string that I receive, and I will get this document, which in turn I will cast into, make sure the document is a document from nodes, not any other document, because it won't be able to cast it if you choose the one. Okay, again, document, this document, I will call this document doc. Let's call this document doc, and let's see what it's complaining about. It says that I have an unhandled exception, IO exception, so I need to most likely throw throws IO exception, and now it disappeared. And so once I have this document downloaded, I have to do some extract the elements, select and say elements is elementos I will call it, and then I access the GSoC, and I think I need to get elements by tag. I will get it by tag. Okay, element by tag. The tag that I'm going to extract is the links, so I want to have all the links downloaded. And once I have those links downloaded, I will just loop through it. But before I loop through them, I want to create a string which I will just send back. And the string I will make with the string joiner, and then I will initialize the string joiner, and I will initialize the string joiner with anything if I am allowed to. So the constructor string joiner is undefined, really. String joiner is the constructor is undefined. Wait a minute, do I really need to give anything for the constructor? Okay, so let's start by that. And next, what I want to do now is just for loop through this, through the elements. So what I'm going to do is that I declare here element, because inside the elements there will be an element. Element X is from elementos, then I will loop through it, and I will say that anytime you find an X, that's a keyword, right? So I need to probably just if, let's say if X text contains the keyword, by the way, yeah, this is the keyword. If it contains the keyword, I would like to then process it and do st append, okay, the string joiner. I think I need the append. How about add? I'm more familiar with the append method. Why is it so? Okay, let's do the add then. Sure, there's no append. Okay, then do add. Let's see. So I will add the X text to that string, and finally I will return the st to string. I will return that string back to whomever did call it. But also I would like to have some separation. I want to make clear where I want and what I want to have separating my strings. So I will choose this. I will concatenate it with a semicolon. I'll explain in a second why I'm doing that. So I'm going to close this because this is basically done. We are done with our implementation. So I'm going to close it so that it saves all the modifications. So once I have this here, this time I don't want to print anything here. I just want to call my routine, which is different. I will call it like our routines scrapes. What's the name? web scrapes, actually. Group themes, web scrapes, and then we have here get web. So in get web, I will pass two things, the URL and the search word. So search for, we call this search for, yes, and I might want to do here probably Java. See if we find something with Java on my website. And now here I'm going to pass these two parameters. The first one, which is the URL, I will get from row, sorry, that's input row URL, and I will pass it input input row dot search for, if I'm not mistaken. That's what how I define it. So this will return something, right? It will return a very large string, or as long as it gets, and that string I will just pass through into the flow. So I want this to go to the next component. I'll create here a new field, and I will call extraction. Let's call it extraction. So yes, I will populate this. Then I will instead of doing that, I will say output row dot extraction will contain now what we are getting back from our routine, and that should be printed out here as a table. So let me just run this, and I will explain in a minute what we can do with the output of this routine. I was running, and yes, it got some things here. See, it found stuff, and as you can see, it must be subdivided by the semicolon. So that's what allows me to know where those what's the separation, the division of those sentences. So the next thing that I want to do now is to normalize these things, because I might like to insert one by one into a database, for instance, or save them into a file line by line. So what I need to do here is to normalize this stuff, and there's something called normalize. You just have to write the normalize here, and it's already actually preset. I might just synchronize here things. And what do I want to normalize? I want to normalize the extraction. So if I go into this, it seems fine. So next thing I want to, maybe I should just remove this one from here, the tlog row, go into the normalize, and then tlog row here again. Synchronize, print as a table here, and there's the normalize. Seems fine, and it seems fine, right? So let's run it again, see what the effect will be. Still the same. Extraction, oh yeah, because it has a comma, actually I want to normalize with a semicolon. So let's do it again. So what we're trying to do is to get that string and resubdivide it back, set it back into its original form, how it was found, right? So we have this here, and actually I don't want to to let the URL pass anymore for now. Just you might be interested to let it pass. What is this? Oh, it doesn't like that much. Okay, no problem. So the next thing that I would like to do is, for instance, you can filter stuff. You can use a filter row component to purify the things that you're getting from the website that you're scraping. You might want to say, hey, I don't want, for instance, the extraction, the function, the length, for instance, has to be greater than 20, let's say 20 characters, something like that, where we don't have something that will match that. But let's say that I want to work with this website here. I want to find something in this website, and I want to make this very automated, and maybe I'm going to search for something that for sure I can find. I might find something like this, routine, and I don't want small sentences, just big thing, the big picture. So let's make a try again. There's only one. We found only one instance of the word. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. If you want to probably insert into a database, you can do it as well. I am not going to explain in this video because I already explained before in how to do that, like how to convert this data into an SQL database, or make a JSON file out of it, or just send it back to another application via SOAP, or even you can make charts with this information. Probably the last thing to explain here will be job extract from URL, just the deployment of this. If you just build a job, I will just put it here, and it's called, I will give it a name, extract from URL. Sorry, extract from URL. I will give this name. You build a job like this. It's building. Actually, I wanted this video to last only 10 minutes, but yeah. Also, and we have something like here, extract from URL. You just have to unpack this. You unpack your thing, and here you have like the script that will run the job, and that's the job, what we just made. Yep, I think I will just wrap it up by here, by saying just thank you for watching and have a nice day. Cheers.